Hello students. As a continuation of videos on cell organelles, today's video is about plastids. So what are plastids? Plastids are nothing but double membrane organelles, and where they are found? They are found in plant cells. So plastids are double membrane organelles, inner membrane, outer membrane organelles. In which cells they are found? In plant cells and algal cells. So in animal cells we do not find plastids. So what is the main function of plastid? Is manufacturing and storing of food, and we know one manufacturing unit in plants, that is chloroplast. So chloroplast is a type of plastids. So let us see what are types of plastids depending on its function. Right, structurally they are all sac like structures. If you have seen, no typical structure, they are just a storage part, right? So chloroplast is a main plastid which is involved in absorption of sunlight, and thus directly it is involved in photosynthesis, that is manufacturing of food, right? Therefore chloroplast is also called as what, dear children? You already know, that is kitchen of cell. So it produces and store glucose. Yes, its function is to produce and store. Now remember this, the chloroplast is the only one plastid which is involved in production. So rest other plastids are not involved in photosynthesis, whereas they are involved in storage. So chromoplast, this chromo word stand for pigment, which is coloring pigment, that is carotenoids, right? Therefore these chloroplasts are plastids, again double membrane storage sacs like structure, which contain pigments, which are colorful pigments, carotenoids, orange, yellow, red, and thus they impart color to the cell and thus to tissues. Therefore whenever we see red flower, that means that flower cells contain red carotenoid in chromoplast, right? Therefore the function of this chromoplast is to give color to flowers and fruits. And finally the leucoplast, very simple structure, double membrane sac like structure, which contain no pigment, that means it is colorless, and it is used to store starch granules, also sometimes lipids also. So these are three types of plastids. Now this chromoplast and leucoplast doesn't require as such special structural requirement, right? They are just a storage kind of thing, they perform function. But what is important for chloroplast is the absorption of sunlight. Therefore it must be having some different structural properties, and let us see what are these for the structure of chloroplast in detail. So structure of chloroplast, where we find chloroplast? Obviously in leaf cell, plant cell. So the location of chloroplast is mesophyll cells. We'll all see in detail these mesophyll cells in tissues when we will learn plant tissues. So this is leaf. When we take leaf section, there are different layers of cells, and in mesophyll cells what we observe is chloroplast. So this is a single mesophyll cell they have shown, and this granular structure is nothing but chloroplast. So if I zoom in how one chloroplast, that is one plastid, looks like, so it is, as we have already seen, it is double membrane structure. Yes, double membrane, inner membrane and outer membrane. See, labels are here, inner membrane and outer membrane, and very characteristic disc-like structure is present in chloroplast. These are called as thylakoid. See here, disc-like structure, and they are stacked one over the other. They are stacked, like, and one stacked layer of thylakoid is called as granum. And there are so many grana in one chloroplast. So look at this, so many grana. And this pigment, it contains chlorophyll, which is green pigment, which actually absorbs sunlight. Moving ahead, so this is chloroplast, outer membrane, inner membrane. These disc-like structures are thylakoids, where chlorophyll pigment inside it is present. These are one granum, two granum, third granum, and togetherly they make grana, right? These red dots are ribosomes, and as seen in mitochondria, chloroplast also shows its own DNA, that is called as chloroplast DNA. And the liquid which is present in this organelle is called as stroma. So where this chloroplast DNA is present in stroma, where these ribosomes are present in stroma. So this thylakoid actually is important in absorption of light. So membrane, outer membrane, inner membrane, internal structure is thylakoid and stroma. Moving ahead. So as it contains own DNA, this plastid is also called as autonomous in function. That means it has own DNA, own ribosome. Therefore, it can make its own protein and it can divide, that is self-replicate on its own. See, the self-replication divides independently. Though it is not completely independent, it is dependent on um, some important functions for nucleus. Therefore, what we can conclude that chloroplasts are semi-autonomous. That means they are not completely independent or completely dependent on nucleus. What is the feature for being semi-autonomous? They have their own DNA, own ribosome, and with the help of this, they can produce their own proteins and they replicate on their own. And similarly, we can explain semi-autonomous nature of mitochondria also, because mitochondria also shows its own DNA and own ribosome. See students, these mitochondria and chloroplast, that is chloroplast, they are cell organelles. That means they are present in one cell where already nucleus is present, where DNA is present. Still, these organelles also contain their own DNA, that is called as mitochondrial DNA and chloroplast DNA. Therefore, they are called as semi-autonomous cell organelles. Now, have you observed why this chlorophyll appears green? What do you think? Because now here physics comes in the picture. Whenever a body appears green, that means it reflects green frequency, right? See, this chloroplast is shown. A visible light spectrum is coming. Reflected light is green, which we see. Therefore, all chloroplast leaves appear green. Major portion of light is transmitted and very few frequency range is absorbed. And what is that? It is red and blue frequency. So chloroplast absorbs, or chlorophyll absorbs strongly the blue and red region, and it reflects green, and therefore it appears green. So what do you think, dear children, when, in which region chloroplast will show its maximum efficiency? What do you think? Obviously in red and blue, because chloroplast absorbs strongly blue and red region of visible spectrum. So will chloroplast work in green light? If I suppose, if I expose one plant completely to a green light, what will be its efficiency? Will it work? What do you think? Yes, it will work, however with very little efficiency, very low efficiency. That means because it doesn't require green frequency at all, therefore chloroplast will not completely efficient in green light. Also, chloroplast shows movement in leaf towards more light intensity. Suppose this area of leaf is getting higher sunlight, so this chloroplast, they show tendency to move towards sunlight. And what is the photosynthesis equation? As we have learning this from previous so many classes, carbon dioxide and water molecule in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, plant produces glucose and oxygen, right? So this chlorophyll is very much important in absorbing sunlight, and chlorophyll is nothing but magnesium porphyrin complex, which is a big molecule. No need to remember its structure. You can just remember as an additional information that it is magnesium containing biomolecule. So just a last comparison between mitochondria and chloroplast. Both are double membrane. However, in mitochondria, inner membrane forms cristae, that is fold structure. Both have their own DNA. See here, mitochondrial DNA. Then it is not shown here, but yes, it is chloroplast DNA. Therefore, they both are autonomous. Then they have both ribosomes. The liquid part is called as stroma in chloroplast, whereas the liquid part, or liquid or semi-liquid jelly-like structure in mitochondria is called as matrix. And Function wise, mitochondria are involved in ATP generation, whereas chloroplast is involved in glucose production. It is called as powerhouse of cell, mitochondria, whereas chloroplast is called as kitchen of the cell. So remember these main similarities and differences, and we'll move to the next organelle in next video.